jagora yang la jang za lo kong lo zhu zhu ni zheng zhe ni da nam da ra ze Kenye donga zhizha zhizhara niji dagara lawan zang ganda zhibe zhara mara Dungara jizarwe nuzo gan lava je daje yala zhizhe yanda zang zhidara zhidro nyamoni Zhunza jang mari muze dungara mega jenye zhunza rajan Duni dajang sabjina Anda li zang yade do Jodha Jodha Jodhi Jodhi Dalum Yawara Yolam Dada Umara Baza Narda 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 Umara Baza Umara Baza Narda 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 Umara Baza Umara Baza Narda Umara Baza Narda Umara Baza Narda Umara Umara Bazana do Tudun Jijin Jiro Ozere Dolo Dama Mumbara Zane Quadan Danjo Jolo Doba Ludu Bilnawa Gida Soro Nyoji Jimbo Zodan Yume Jao Zone Monum Jimbo Ngabjat Pakara Darngam Zandu Jemdo Tumba Tiji Jala Shansar Lo
Good afternoon to everyone. We are going to continue now with our teaching on Shamatha, but before we do this, please everybody make an aspiration of bodhicitta.
Gum Shetanga to some guns she said Karsang shed. The need terang to gum Gumonjo Tataso Sama Shedney. The need Dajani Gumbi Mujut Shabikabrit.
So yesterday we talked about the 3 stages of listening, contemplating and practicing or meditating, and then this morning we went through the preliminary stage or the first stage of our meditation session and also began with the core part of our Shamatha meditation practice. So this afternoon we're going to continue with this.
Tini tu ta jene gombi ne kamna tini simla mungni tini jene gom go soni ta kong de te son son tini tu simla mu zero de kandis la zegre ni ta ta na tu tini tu gom te jab tini chama simla tini musr so tini lo jong shi son ta tini mar chuni mar sha yin.
So this morning we did some brief practice on the Shamatha meditation method whereby the mind observes the mind, and so we had a brief experience of this and we're going to continue talking about this now.
Semla mungni semnanda yipitasu mumujang semjigyo na liwi nyangwi li ge nang nyangwi manbar karyang. Tani tanga so sim te la tani sim go tani sim la mu ze tani sim go rang nyam sim yung ze re amuk ze na jamba mandu nga so sim khorang go khorang tani nyam sim yung ne tani de go re ze tani nga so sim to pe na tani shilo la zu ja te chu yang tani khorang ga ta thab te yang ha go nyam sim yung to Te tang nyam de tini khorang rang o tan danda zire ngarang rang yang danda bo zire samban rawo tinji ga nam tokta tinji ga marta nyam nyung saro tini yo den ga tinji zire te khorang sim ko tini chachu re.
So when we talk about the mind observing the mind or the mind observing itself, we're really talking about the mind having the capacity to directly experience itself. So just as the mind is able to perceive form and sights in the external world and is able to experience or perceive sounds as well, so too is it able to directly experience itself. So when we use the word observe, we're not referring to anything here other than the mind directly experiencing itself, and its ability to do this is a characteristic or the characteristic of the mind.
Tani tauna ngacho simti kangna yo goreze ngacho liga teni lapa na la yore ta nyang na la yo phoa na la kangba na la yore te simta kang la yore zina tani simta na karti ngacho teni liti na la teni sim khorang la teni nesa teni sachan ra bo teni yona o teni ta nyang wi la yo go re ma to ba jamba yo mare so.
So in terms of locating the residence of our mind in our body, does it reside in our brain? Does it reside in our heart? Does it reside in our feet or in our stomach? Well, if we had to designate a residence or a place of residence for the mind within the body, then we would designate it as our heart, the center of our heart.
Teni shirtang azu sim tanang yang shasong teni sim korang zig mepaz re teni zig mepaz yin sarti teni korang lapa na la yota nyang na la yota kang la yo ndala yo zini teni ze guna teni ze thab go mare yena teni ngazu gum gyapi ne kamna teni gombi ne kamna teni te nyang la gum na teni rezi teni gum sayang te yore tena nyang wi mpa ka yang me zini teni ze jang na chokore shirtang korang teni tasik ngazu simzeate teni pena murtaoshi teni nyang zerate khamba taoshi ni nyang gwila takbar deorzena te yimbing ibat yo mare
Ti chukla khande song ya pukoma song.
sharta ngazu teni nyang gombi ne kabna teni sim nyang wila gomna ndikre teni shar teni ta shartang khorang teni simzeate te nyang gnangla yo ma to jambala me nyang nang ta la yo zena ti ngipa yo mare.
So, however, the mind, as we know, is formless. It doesn't have any form. So, for this reason, as we talked about this morning, it's in general not possible for us to locate where the mind exists in our body in a concrete place. It's not possible to say that the mind exists in our brain or at our heart. However, in terms of meditation practice, we can meditate on the mind as if it resides in the center of our heart. It is possible for us to do this in meditation. It is appropriate for us to do this in the concrete context of meditation. However, this is not saying that this is where the heart necessarily resides.
Tani shirtang tini ta nyang la yo pingi payo marta gumna tini fini tina la yo samni tini gumna tani yang korang la tini tini yang gubayori ti gupat ola ndikte gumna tini gum jabna tong tola mena tini gumna yang tela gubayori.
So even though in reality our minds don't exist or reside in the center of our hearts, in the context of meditation, when we observe our mind as if it did reside in the center of our heart, then this has a particular power or efficacy in the context of our meditation practice.
Tani shirtang atso sang kanala gum jabine kamna tani larka gum jinrada yang jamba chi yike gum bandawta tini tso tini ti nyang nang la tini nyang atso tanong shapando metok pamando shini ti nang la gum khan tini yang yore se sang kanala.
So in other forms of Vajrayana meditation practice, such as deity meditation, idam meditation, or where we visualize letters and syllables, in the context of these meditation techniques, it's quite common to meditate, to visualize our heart in the form of a lotus flower.
Yina tini tanang atso yang jawab ko bini kamna yang nyang nang la yang tini nyang gum ni tinang la gum gona te depo mundik zinken tini yo songse te yina te kyung mare ngaso tini nyang gum tini ti nang la tini gum tini mashina yang shetang ti jani gum sar la pe na ngaso pardu thudur to so tini chamme ke jani nang la tini nyang gum mare shetang tini sim nang la nam to kan mi pashini de na tin riksa yore.
So today, or this morning, during our question time, one student mentioned that she found it a little uncomfortable during meditation to meditate on the mind as residing in the heart. And that's not a big problem insofar as shamatha meditation is concerned. There are a lot of different methods where we don't observe our mind as if it resided in our heart. In fact, in terms of the 13 different shamatha meditation methods in the Book of the Dead, these are formless meditation methods where we essentially rest in a still state of no thought, and in this situation the mind is not observed or meditated on as if it existed in a concrete part of the body.
Tani yana nga tso tani ta nyang tani maugum nyang khala tani gomna deyang chokore te ta nga kena ba tani gomgo na tani gomna deyang yakbo yore tani nga tso shetang sang kana la tani na nyang khala tani tsangkor sa yore te di na la yang gomlu ramra mambo yore yang te so na la nyang maugum ken tani sa kyang ba gum ken tani yang mambo yore te na tani gomna chokore
Dinge go ma song yang ja chi song lo na.
za zina ta
Dinge go song te dinge go la nge ya po go ma song.
Ngola te kyoso teni nyankhala gomna chokore nyankhala gomna yang drikere nyang magum nyankhala gomna chokondus.
So it is yeah. Mm-hmm. So if it is okay to meditate meditate on the mind as if it resided in the center of the heart. It's also okay if we don't meditate in this way too.
Teni nyang magumni teni nyankhala tsangkhur gumni tsangkhur zina kowa. Oh ya tsangkhur gumni.
Will. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh ya. Teni tinala teni gum jam kan teni yang sang kanala mambo yore tena the nyankha kyang ba teni gumna drikere.
In Vajrayana practice, there are also meditation techniques where we simply focus our attention on the center of the channels at the center of our heart and focus our attention in this way.
Tindi na shirtang de simla tini mungne ta jani gomsar ka tab depo tini tab labo tini zre nyokta mambo yo saz mare te na tini nyang rata tini chi tsangkhur rata tini mambo magumna shirtang simnyang ka lafta nindugna te machot yo mare tini shina ndikres.
So in terms of the yangja song na chokung da khabong go ma song.
Tini shirtang tini sim nyangkhala teni gomni ndugna yang chokores ta tini sim nyangkhala tani teni ndugna yang chokores.
So in general it is fine if we practice meditating on our mind at the center of our heart.
Shirtang atso teni sanga kanala nyangkhate teni halipa karchimbuz la tsgres.
In the Vajrayana tradition, this spot, the center of our heart, is regarded as an important place.
Shirtang di gom thap ndo teni tab depo shine teni jerne gom kan teni zre te na tina la nyokta mambo nyang data tsangkhur data te so te magum nan dikre.
This particular shamatha meditation practice that we're looking at is a very simple. It's a very straightforward practice, and so for this reason there is not a lot of complexity involved in concentrating on different channels or anything like this.
Tindi na teni nga to gom srxim da ponduwa te so na ne teni kanti gomna kang tab depo gomna teni gomda dikendu chikti nga so nyang gomba da pores nyang yoba da pores chikti teni nyang mepa teni nyang khala ta panda pore teni chikti nyang la chawa ni nyang khata nyang da te so chiching ma shini shetang sem teni na la nam tok ka me ni denken da pore teni sim da posen doze.
So there are 3 ways that we can practice that are all okay, they're all acceptable. The first one is where we meditate on our observing our minds as if our minds exist in our heart, actually in our heart. The second way is where we meditate on our mind as existing at the point at the center of our heart, but not actually in our heart. So the second one, is simply just focusing at the point at the center of the heart, and this is not focusing on the mind as residing at this point. Sometimes there are different objects or different things that we focus on at this point, but it is simply concentrating the attention at this point. And then the third possible way is when we neither focus on the mind as existing in the heart or at the center of our heart, concentrating our attention here, but simply rest in a state free of thought.
Dramada mambo teni namtok yongare te na teni namtok koranga teni yongsa gani yongare zina teni ganje gotone yongare te na teni koranga ngo te la ngo ti tone pari yongare te na ngo sem ngo te la teni negore.
So resting in this place, we find that all kinds of thoughts arise.
Chusde semzar ta sem gdini korang sem ngo la teni namtok mambo ganji gnane namtok mambo yongo yore te na teni mjonkong ganji te la tani teni de gore.
So from this basic from the all-encompassing consciousness, many thoughts arise, and we simply rest in this state in observing this all-encompassing consciousness.
Teni yangna teni ngaso namtok te teni nyang ni teni mambo te namtok chamba nyang nang ni yungu yore ji dola nyang imbi ngi pa yo marta yena ngaso nyang ti nang la teni nyang khala yena chok nyang la yena chok tela namtok yongsa ti koranga nesan rapo ti imba ngaso gombi ne kumna teni gomgu yore teni tela singta ne na chosita teni tonchik panda pore.
It's also possible for us during meditation to observe the thoughts arising as if the place from which they were arising is our hearts, our mind residing at the heart, or the point at the center of our heart. This is essentially the same thing.
Teni simter mafshal hanir jagze teni ngaso simde gandizre teni korang kan dukta lapa na lan dukta sim gana nyang gana lan dukta menduzi teni zargo marezi teni namtok kan masher jagnata tela zigre tin jugure.
So it's not necessary for us to be looking to where the thoughts are arising from our brain or from here or from there, simply to look at the thought movement itself and rest there is sufficient.
Teni ngaso semti ta kawan joggo gore teni jaksa teni menduk teni sem kangatholan joggo gore je sem korang ma tok ba tele jamba teni sem jaksa ngaso rakam menduk samni teni sam murgoze sem korang yonati chokore jamba teni sem chik tang teni yang sem ti jaksa chik teni kaka teni mena chakare te korang sem korang yonati chok tin dukare.
So it's not necessary for us to be searching for the mind or for a place to rest the mind, for us to have an idea of a mind and a place where it is rested, simply to rest in the mind itself. This is enough.
Teni konang semte nyalmal ta zeneri joktan te kendu teni korang sem korang gang kawa yona tin samtela teni korang magayo te korang margizina teni korang teni tela jugir zenandra yana te korang la teni yogur mapshi korang kawa yona teni tin samti jokta teni tin jukare.
So
konang semti nyalmal ta nyalmal zena korang ka nyasa ga nangla zegir.
Yeah.
Oh teni sem ga nyasa ga nangla korang jokta teni jukare jamba go mares.
So it is fine to let the mind rest on its own bed or in its own bed.
Teni sem ga nyalmal zena kangla zega yore zena ta chishina na nyang na nyangka na tela shina chokores.
So in terms of where this bed of the heart is, it's okay if we say that it is in the heart or at the point of the heart.
즉시나 셈 거란 거 ngō 건지 남시 때나 디 초코레.
It's okay if we say that the essence of the heart is the all-encompassing consciousness.
너나 가서 냥카 있나 냥나 있나 때라 셈따니 되니 셈 그나라 남도 강 말씀니 되니 비자나 디나라 되니 나 탐진 디어레.
The important thing is that we rest observing the mind, whether it be in the heart or at the point of the middle of our heart, in a state where we give rise to no thought.
되니 때랑 가서 때 가서 되니 셈때 거랑 가와 요나 되니 가서 셈때 디나라 거랑 거 간디 지나 디톨라 비자나 되니 때라 작탑제 그래 때레 잠바고 말에 거랑 셈 곰비 탑 신자 보대양 데레 잠고 말에 때라 탑시 망보 뇨다 되니 망보요 말에 셈 거랑 거 올라 따니 되니 디나라 되니 남토 망보 마키와 되니 시장나 되니 작탑제나 작비 탑디 데레 되니 잠바고 말에.
So just resting like this, observing the essence of the mind is essentially our method. There is no need for us to apply any more complicated methods than this. This is essentially the method that we use for resting the mind.
chila nyo pokpa yi zerma lamla moyo wartar sim tok nyo po tatkar kwa pe makakte ta nga tsu sim di kandi zirezina nam tok mambo sim kana la kere pe jagna nga tsu teni chig na la teni chin chig na la teni nyama japi ne kap chinchi teni ga na la nyama japi ne kap na nga tsu partana teni ti nyama zer ka na la teni zer ti lam teni yo yore te chama teni ta gojiri te ngaso semde tenra pose tsawani deg mare namkin teni oyowa teni zeres.
So our minds are always giving rise to thoughts, and this state of our mind, always in a state of giving rise to thought movement, is just like when light shines on water and produces a glimmering movement. This is just like the state of our minds, the state that our minds are usually in, a state that is never still, always moving.
배우자나 가서 니마드니 서샤르 비네 금난 디 갑텔라티니 디 파르타사텔라티니 친치든지 요나 장원다오 든지 요나 드니 니마 오티나라 잡티니 롱테 용이네 금나티니 가서 드니 파르타나 드니 오 총총 mambo 야통 mambo 티나라티니 저 장원나라티니 오요요레스 오다 가서 셈티 틴다보 남토 치보 총총 잠마다 바르마차트니 용컨든지레스.
So we can imagine if a stream of light was coming through the window and it was reflecting off a small pond, if there was a little bit of wind as well, then this would produce a glimmering movement and we could see the dancing of a lot of light. And this is just what our minds are usually like, in a state of continually giving rise to thought. Big thoughts, small thoughts, subtle thoughts, a continuous glimmering array of thought movement.
Teni tindawi namtokto yowaindi ngatso takar teni par gagona teni namtokte kono gagtabko mare. Teni tabshi gang gogorezina teni chite mabgar ramjagna zernante yang lanirdo. Tepe na chite la teni oyongar shinkenga longte karte mesona teni chite teni ta tangmo shini teni dukore teni ozer mambo teni yowayo mareze.
So given that our minds are giving rise to thoughts in this manner, trying to stop them or to block them in some direct way would not be successful. We wouldn't be able to achieve this. However, if it were possible for us, say, just like with the example of glimmering movements of water on a lake surface, if we were to remove the element of the wind, then the lake surface would immediately come into a state of stillness. So this is the approach that needs to be taken.
대비진 제와 장메피 셈콩 시발 하니르죠. 어다디 값은 가서 셈양 제와 메파 제와지나 남쪽만부 마키와 드니 요와 메파 드니 잠부 신이 데데파 베나나 드니 쳐 장워나 롱메피네 그분라보 신이 드니 셈 남쪽 제와 메피 드니 ngote 텔라타니 드고거지 타 텔라타지나 코랑 제와 메파 팅강라 데네나 초코레.
So by resting in a state of stillness, giving rise to no thought movement whatsoever, then this is the same as removing the wind, so that the water itself the water face comes to a state of stillness. So we remain or we rest in this state.
니나라 만보시안드다 조종마 더 당보드니 가서 다능샤반다 보시니 토머를 드니 셈코랑 거고 라따니 늑시바드 짜위짜랑고마드 데레.
So there's a lot that more complicated things that can be said about this, but really the main point is that which we spoke about earlier, and that is observing the essence of the mind directly and resting in this state.
드니 니 값은 아주 셈니 비탑 거지지도 요래 저니 곰비 값스 드니 디나니 드니 카시든 디톨라 페쇼 땅고 그래.
Within the 9 methods of bringing the mind to rest, there are several of these methods that we can also bring to use in this meditation context.
드니 탑 그보 참아고 말이지 탐시티 다른 거 말에 가서 땅보 드니 곰잡이니 금나 디나니 nga simta tayintamanda go gre.
So it's not necessary for us at this point to apply all 9 of the methods for bringing the mind to rest. However, the first 3 of these methods can be used by us productively.
Dini nga sim ganani tangbo tela njokbazi greze teni ampa sim te kan njokbazi ate teni khorang gom goi ngupo kang gom goyonati gom goyati thola par sim jakpa tela teni njokbazi greze.
The first of the 9 methods is that of placement, and by placement we mean placing the mind upon the object on which it is concentrating or focusing.
Tani pernanga cho tari tinin ta di semla peni jane gombanda ina jokba ta kandizila zegrezina tani namtok chama tinin depa tata maung ba namtok chama mar chichong songni tani alakor ko tok tani thuk thola thombi kaps tani thuk thoni tani ta mayo washini thuk thola tani ta dena tani ti thola karma chingdna karma nindna ti thola ndikpatela.
So in the context of our meditation, placement would refer to when our thoughts progressively become less and fewer till finally we reach 0 point, resting at this point 0 in an unmoving way for 1 minute or 2 minutes or for however long we are able to rest here. This is placement of the mind.
Tini 특제 고위 gemsende tini ngaso tanang hamu tini siapa tere tini namtok mambo tini namtok chembo yona namtok chembo te tini tuk yanchoni anga chi ni sim je nga teso namtok chembo res tini namtok chongchong te la ogje ga namtok chongchong yo res tini namtok chongchong te tini tuksak chi tuksak ni tuksak sim teso namtok tuksak chi ni tuksak ge par teso namtok chongchong res tini angchang So the
reason for why we refer to this state as 0 or point 0 we talked about before. From this basic point of 0, larger or more coarser thoughts that arise, we can imagine as large integers such as 1 or 2 or 3 up to 9. Smaller and more subtle thoughts we can imagine as 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 up to 0.9. In any case, the state where we give rise to no thoughts whatsoever, whether big in nature or subtle in nature, is 0.0 itself.
Deni ngaso simla nang simla tani deni sam dondak jambala samlo chawane maltang ne deni tez ndugna deni ndugpi kaps deni tanang ngaso sheyo deni chachu sum kan deni chabar sum dang damba chachu sum kan deni signana ngaso deni ji sim de nang tok mangbo deni ke menken nam tok ne menken 인나양 되니 거랑 배우잖아다 가서 특그 돈이 샤용나 특그 특대라양 되니 차추든지 스미오고 차추 스미오래지 특대라 특대 강래지나 특대 거랑 특직부 마토바 디토라 특작직 특작니 특작슴 양나가 그 등재라서 되니 안장 직장요 말에 특대 거랑 특장바래지 대차추직래.
So in simply observing the mind and giving rise to no thought, resting in this state of point zero has, as we talked about this morning, 3 characteristics. So even though it is a state of no discursive thought, we can speak of it as if it possesses 3 characteristics. The first being that zero, this point zero, is a state of giving rise to no numbers. There are no numbers, whether small decimal points, 0.0, 0.2, 0.1, 0.2, or larger integers, 1, 2, 3, 4. None of these exist at 0. There is nothing at 0 except for itself 0. So this is the first characteristic.
되니 차추니바디 되니 특대양 되니 거랑 착직다 착니 착슴라서 바딘디 안장요 말이다. 옛날 되니 특코랑 안장즈 레지 거랑 제형매 빠지 말에 거랑 안장즈 레아지 나랑 저 되니 특배나 안거지니 심든지 그 잡록라잖아 되니 양장가지 동거요래 되나 특대 강형 말이지나 연적 말에 되니 대 차추니바디레.
The second characteristic is, even though we just said that 0 is not is a state where there are no integers, larger integers or smaller decimal numbers, this is not to say that it is not a number itself or that it is nothing in itself. That is, when we put 0 in front of the other numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., it becomes a numeral in this context. So it's not correct to say that 0 is nothing.
되니 차추스바드 나초되니 베르나 특대 앙장가나니 되니 차시의 앙장 차시 창막 앙장스리다 차창가 앙장스리다 양나 이 차시의 앙장스리나 정수다 후수저로 되니 강레지나 되니 강형 말이지 되니 끼크대레지 거랑 끼들라 요래 마도바 되니 나초 특대 되니 차시의 앙장스리나 대양 제탑고 말이 되니 차창가 앙장스리나 대양 제탑고 말이
And the third characteristic of 0 is that it is neither a positive integer or a negative integer. It is precisely in the very middle of both of these. So this is the third characteristic.
어때니 특대라 되니 차추섬도 와지 된자 보시니 되니 가서 셈대라 따용디 남똑가야 메비고네 셈코랑 마거 되니 마거즈나 공도 마거니 된디시잖아 되니 코랑 갈레 말 되니 더 남톡 상마 메바레니 되니 어요와 메바 된디즈 강랑라 되니 네그리 디 값에 데라 특제고레.
So resting in this state, or this 0 point, a state where no thoughts are arising, simply resting in this state and observing the mind is abiding in this state of 0.
되니 대랑 아주 다능 공랍셰 비디니 차추슴도 단데니 냠도 저거 그래지 대 아주 디 셈데든지 잡비네 겁나 대 남동의 직경요 말해지 대 메바디 베랑 아주 다리 특대라 되니 특작 직단이 심라속바 메반자 보래지 남동 메바디 베나 특대라 착직 차니 착심라속 거랑 특장바 마도 전요 말에 대당자 보래 남동 메바래지 디 차추 당보래.
So the first characteristic is that in resting our mind in this way, it is a state of no thought. So even subtle thoughts, 0.1, 0.2, are not present in this state.
되니 특대라 착직다 착니라서 바 안장 디디 메나요. 되니 코랑 가서 다리 공라 샤바준도 코랑 제양 메바즈 말에 코랑 라요 니바지요레. 된자보 가서 남톡 메나양 되니 셈 코랑 건지 코랑 되니 사로 되니 코랑 요 바즈레제 코랑 지직 메바 짜와네 메바 남카 동반다고 되니즈 말이지 되니 건지나 베나 가서 건지 그 톨라 니니 곰잡나 가서 니 총와당 자가 문도 와지 되니 겨송와 땅양 자가 문도와 되니 코랑양 되니 사로 되니 냠심 용지 요래지 되니 때배나가 저 특대양 되니 지형에 빠진 말에 코랑 지그 잡로라잖아 되니 돈돈 그래 된다 버리 되니 잡고래.
And in terms of the second characteristic of this 0 point, as we just said, even though 0 is a state where no integers are present, nevertheless it isn't nothing. It's not correct to say that 0 is nothing in itself. When put in place with the other integers, it takes its function in this context. And so too does this 0 point have its own function. The all-encompassing conscious itself is clearly awake, it is lucidly awake, it is able to lucidly and clearly experience itself.
되니 남도 되니 다니 특대 거랑 차성거 장가당 되니 차시거 장가니가 강어리지 되니 제톱고 말에 배나 딘자 보시니 되니 가서 남도대 남도 메니 되니 잠보 대비네 겁나 단더 가서 셈데 딘리즈리 제니 제고나 되니 소소 냠심용 턱거래 마도 바 카급 주거나 대지 좀 마시 반다고 요바 대당 되니 특니까 잡보래.
And in terms of the third characteristic, as we just mentioned, that 0 is a place right in the center of positive integers and negative integers. It's not possible to say that it is positive or negative. It is neither one or the other. So too, the state of resting at 0 point is one that we are able to experience and to understand in an experiential way. However, it is not possible for us to express in language the nature of this state.
되니 가서 조징거 돌아 되니 조징거 되니 추고나라 가서 남쪽 특대 결고래 손에 되니 숨고 말해서 가서 참아가 고아 답디보 용야 치트 되니 된디샤 바레 마토 바시르당 가서 되니 더 출그때 타니 고만 말해지 돼.
Of course, speaking about resting the mind at 0 point or in a state of 0 is not a traditional way of describing how to rest our mind. It's a way that I use to convey the meaning in an easily understandable way. It's not a traditional.
아야. 다더니 거기 가서 특그 돌아 내나더니 때라 심리바가 탑거는 거 띵나라 내나 띵나라 누나 가서 심때 되니 내 특대 결니 라코르트 결니 띵한데 내나 되니 때라 심리비 탑거는 당본 족바지 그래.
So by bringing our minds to rest on this point of 0 and resting in this state, abiding in this state, then this is what we refer to as the first of the 9 methods of bringing the mind to rest, that of placement or placing the mind.
되니 텐지 고니 니피네 겁나 당봉 아초더니 곰잡이네 겁나 되니 남쪽대 자와니 되니 니 탐거 말해지 되니 남쪽 하죠 멍보용 거래 더 가서 텐지 고니 데나 되니 karma chinda karma ninda tindi matok ba deni rambondu guna halepa kamores.
When we first start out with our meditation practice, actually resting at this point for any length of time is very difficult. Very rapidly our minds give rise to new thought activity, so it's quite difficult for us to rest in this state for any more than a couple of minutes.
되니 디네 겁랑 가서 남쪽라 되니 갈성되는 거 가서 다다가 되니 다니 자고 되니 배쇼 땅나 디네 겁 되니 가서 남쪽라 답축시고 그래. 답축 도전.
So so when we find ourselves in this situation, we need to enter into struggle with our thoughts.
되니 텔랑아서 고름 슴 양나 지 되니 기름 고름 지 진다보 되니 요레스 답축시비 디 고름 텔라.
And this process of entering into struggle or battle against our thoughts has 4 stages to it.
Teni ngacho tangbo gum japi ne kamna teni mo chama ga sem ga nangla teni trabdik sigo go re ta sem nangla trabdik zio go ji ti trabdik ta ka re sina teni o tang ni gum japi ne kamna nga tangbo ta nam tok mambo hali ba mambo ke re yinna nge yinda manda teni nam tok te so cham chupo me pa shini kosola tabni tabsup shini ngarang ga jarka lengo sambanda o ti sem nangla trabdik ta tangbo yo go re.
So the first thing that we need to do prior to beginning meditation is be mentally prepared for what we are going to experience. And so the first thing that we need to be mentally prepared in respect of is that by practicing meditation to begin with, our minds are going to be full of thought activity, that our minds are going to be constantly giving rise to thought. However, in respect of this thought activity, we need to adopt an attitude of firm resolution to eliminate these thoughts and to achieve victory over them.
Teni tangbo nga tso teni gum japa la lopi ne kamna kandis re zena te namto haliba mambo te gella kini teni nga tso namto teni shertang ka namto teni ramanda ta leki thana ndochak jerdang tum ngarger khongcho teni nyumung ba ga namto yang mambo teni kegre te kapsa.
So when we first start out with our meditation process, our meditation practice, our minds are full of discursive mental activity, thoughts of an ordinary nature, thoughts that afflictive thoughts characterized by hatred and anger and by desire. We give rise to a great amount of thought activity of this nature.
Tani ti kapsa nga tso chorwa kanda zimjong kore zena parche ngarang gum majipi nekabli ngarang gum gyapi nekabla namtok mangbo rendo undu ngarang gum gyapi jangna namtok chimung lando undu sambandra utindig nawa yung kore.
And at this time, it's very common for us to feel that, in fact, when we sit down to meditation, we have much more discursive mental activity than we do in our normal everyday life.
Ti jimsenji mi mambuz ke chisam kare zena ta ngarang la gum da ngarang lemdri yosa mare ngarang digba chimbo yun sare ngarang tini digdup chimbo yun sare ngi gum jamna ngarang la gum la tini lemdri yosa mare da ngarang gum jam chi par yigjo ngarang gum jamna rewa yosa mare tele ngarang jamban domban randon te chi tindi da shina lojong da shina gasare samni tini gum jawa te ti kaps tini par yigjang ko tini mo tini mambu yore.
And there are many students who actually abandon meditation practice at this point, feeling that they are not, they don't have a karmic affinity with meditation practice, that they, in fact, for whatever reason, be it a karmic obstacle or their own defilement, that this is preventing them from experiencing good meditation practice. And so many students abandon meditation thinking that they will suffice themselves with recitation, mantra recitation, or study of the Dhammas, the teachings. They give up, essentially, meditation.
Tene nga tso mi mangbozi ke tene gum japi ne kamna nga tso tsangma tendi yinba da ha go ya mare ze korang ka samna ngarang tendi re ma to ba jamba tendi yin mare sam tendi sam kare ta te mare nga tso tsangma tendi re ze tsangma te tangbo nga tso gum japi ne kamna tendi chikpa re tendi nam to hali ba mangbo yung kare.
But many people don't know when they set out to learn meditation that that everyone actually is in the same boat, that everyone experiences a great deal of mental thought activity in the same way, and that they are not the only ones.
Teni namtok tambo ko ni gum japi ne kamna namtok chik jam me pa na teni te nguni jengtan maim bares tenchang maim ba jengtan maim bares tambo gum japi ne kamna namtok mambo yona.
In fact, to sit down to meditation for the first time and not to give rise to any thoughts whatsoever would be extremely abnormal. The normal situation is to experience a great deal of thought activity.
Teni me mambozo ko kharan so teni gum jabna tambo ni teni gum japti ne kamna teni namtok men kan teni kebo teni yakbo zin sare samni teni khoso rewa chimbo teni jabi ore teni marezi.
Of course, some people think that beginning with meditation, they'll sit down, everything will come along well, they'll have a great, happy and pleasant feeling, but in fact, this isn't how it works.
야. Then ngacho dugan chamkan tang tari pale ga teni te dugan chamkan so teni tangbo kangba umzugo to so chamala teni mare teni te kangba na teni mambu yong ko wazi te da was ga pena teni pena janagla teni bogo chong sama ga teni achu de mungchur da mari nyintsal jina ko do tin chapine kamna teni korang kangba lakpa jangbo tang di thola mambo kangba nan teni kangba parkyang ni tin machimbo so kangba nan ni teni nani nguni teni kabli mambo sorgndo wazi te dang chigbare nga so simlab jongdershipine kap teni yongre.
In training our minds to start with, in meditation, it is just like actors in traditional theatre or ballet dancers who, to begin with, essentially need to torture their bodies in order to train themselves to be able to dance. So as ballet dancers who dance on point essentially need to massacre their feet in order to learn how to dance. And in China there are some gymnasts and circus performers who as children have their limbs stretched out and adults sit on them in order to keep them flat and cause a great deal of pain. So too with the beginning of our meditation training, do we need to undergo some difficulty.
Then jondrche goreze kanlayna jondrche gore jondr machina jondr kan shi margojin de shinro kan katini shawati so then hali paga le lapo shawati so re tindi le jons le lapo maim bi shawazina kanlayna jondr gore jondr gona jondr kanina tambu te kamure tambu ni tini le lapo tindi jondr te hali pa nyonyo re parchi yo mare.
There's really no kind of activity in respect of which we don't need to engage in training or exercise, at least not any kind, no activity that is of a somewhat more difficult nature. That is, perhaps there are certain easier tasks or easier activities that we might engage in that don't need particularly onerous training. However, for any kind of more challenging task, it is necessary for us to engage in a process of training ourselves and to encounter some difficulties in the process.
Then it takes it in Namto Mambo, Kirita, Namtola Sambaki Yangamaris. Sanbajinako, Tauyen.
Oh, that's it. So even though at the beginning of our meditation practice we will give rise to a great deal of thought activity, we shouldn't let ourselves feel aversion to this state.
Kale tabshi yore de korang de nga so sim jongderta yala tabshi yore tabshi go ne kale jongderta go re.
There are methods that we need to apply to assist us in this training, and we engage in this training by gradually, step by step, honing ourselves in these methods.
Teni tambo nga so sim te tindi japi ne kamna teni yen rambun jok thop ko mare teni nam to ke yongre ti kapsa teni ta nga so kaz kari go re zina teni tonda ni tola hale pa torna she go re.
So to begin with, when we bring our minds to rest, at 0 point and find ourselves not being able to rest here for a particularly long period of time, there are essentially two things that we need to pay attention to or be on the lookout for. Or these two things which can assist us at this point, and they are mindfulness and awareness.
Teni jamba ti kaps kangla zegrezina teni ngaso pena tonda jamba pena chi martak banda yana shangchip ji semda teni jamba z gumna gumya ga tunti teni sem ga nangla pena parja banda o shine ti quarantine la teni nindu quarantine la ne yo na tinala yon yo patela teni jambaze kare jambi mabji pazi jizena mepare sona teni jize kare koranti sem kanala mabji ne saru yopatela teni jambaze kare.
So the first of these, mindfulness, is that ability to keep in mind, to keep in our minds whatever it is that we are meditating on. So whether it be impermanence or bodhicitta, to almost as if take a photo of that which it is that we are keeping in our mind and to not forget it, to clearly be mindful of it, is what we mean with mindfulness.
Teni karti chambat mesona teni ngacho sem kanala gum yamni tondak ngacho sem kanala gum yopati teni meni mepa changdore te jid dore jid ni mepa changdore teni mepa chaksona teni ngacho gum te ngacho sem te gum maim bare dore.
Without mindfulness, we find that the focus of the object of our meditation is lost. We forget it, and therefore our minds are no longer in meditation or focused on meditation.
Teni ngacho tari journey teni gom simla tani journey gom chandrapo teni zina jamba te kangla ze go rezina teni ngacho kongla chachu sum dang damba sim yana ngacho kongla teni sale sangni teni fyayo o tindi ke semti thola ni tindi sale sange ke semti ngacho sem kanala sarbu shini teni ne ona teni ti ne ya tela teni jamba ze gres.
So mindfulness in the context of shamatha meditation, as we've been speaking about, would be a mind that is would be having in our mind the three characteristics of point zero that we spoke about before, or the clearness and lucidity of the mind observing the mind that we mentioned as well, and clearly being aware of this state and abiding in this awareness is what we refer to as mindfulness.
Teni jambati ngacho mabjipa shini semganani teni jitani te ngacho gumyati teni mabjipa shini teni tinala semganala tabar korang semganala sharji gore te strip jigpatila te semganala sharzina semganala mepa marepa opena ngacho jangwa nangla teni dawa gazmin te shariona teni jangwa nangla dawa gazmin te tabar yona teni te korang semganala teni jamba guni korang yopandra bore teni sem chig jangwa nala dawa te par mepare sona teni jamba meni par jitsungandra po teni zla ze yore.
So the state of being mindful or mindfulness is when we abide in this, abide in dati gola yangia songna chok.
Bezri ta
Da betingi go bengi go tingwan la teni che khaza che song song.
Pe ngola ta chama shiko ta te pe ten jawa ze nga cho jamba dang shivin zera jamba ti sem gnala khorang ti tonde mabji par tini jambi ti sem gnala ngama gangum na gumti gumya ga tonde mabji par tini saru tini chande wa tere.
So mindfulness is where we do not allow the object of our meditation to go from our mind. We don't allow it to pass from our mind. We keep it always in mind. So just like when the moon light is reflecting on the surface of a pond, so long as the moon is there, we can see the reflection. However, if the moon disappears, then we no longer see the reflection anymore. And this would be similar to a situation where we lose mindfulness and our awareness or our mindfulness of our meditation is lost. So this is a metaphor that we can use to understand mindfulness.
Teni jamba chikti pe yang halipa kar chimbo chikti kanarjinati shivjin ze yore.
And the second important aside from mindfulness, the second important thing we need to bear in mind is awareness, being aware.
Teni shivjin ti kanri rezina ta ngarang gomte teni namtok mepa rin du ta mandu yana namtok che ndu ta mandu yana teni jamba ga teni te nga so gomya te jit sar ndu ta mundu te so saru susu yang tak pa shipa te la zegrezi shipa te nga so nam tok nga teni je ndu ta mundu teni sam nyang ga mare so nyamnyung go gone khorang teni ko na nyamnyung go ku go gore nyamnyung go ku ndu pa te la zegrezi.
So awareness is when our mind is clearly cognizant of its state. So whether or not it is in a state of mindfulness, or whether it is passed from a state of mindfulness, whether it is in a state of giving rise to thought or not giving rise to thought, this is not achieved through directly discursively asking questions of the mind. Rather, it is an experiential awareness of the state that the mind is in.
Teni jambatan shivjin korang ni ponda wo ina pe na makka teni soanda wo sotan kanga teni sobata ware.
So we can liken these two, mindfulness and awareness, to watchmen, military watchmen.
Teni makka teni so jam kanti korang ganglan teni jangrang bo la teni dra yung yo ta me teni ta go re ma to ba dra junglan joni teni ngola ta teni marez.
So watch persons, in terms of people who are on watch, people who are keeping lookout, they need to do this from afar, perhaps from mountains outside the city. If they are on the lookout for enemies, they wouldn't do this by going directly into the city and trying to be on the lookout from here.
Teni yang ni tazina kandis la ko go rezena teni pe nga son teni nik mukn teni hola tani dugna teni mugzar kan teni ye shokta teni yon shok mutso yar lang ndu drog ndu to so nga so kale stage teni tonang shi na teni thongore te la mugzar ka ta zegre te ma to ba muk ye la ta teni yon la ta teni ta mare ye la ta yon la ta jina teni ta mare teni ye yon la ta mare muk ngol la ta re ta yena ndi zirni ka teni khorang so teni ndu ta drog ndu ta te so ko ndu was ta to pere pe tenda po shini teni jamba ta shijing go khorang ga semte yakpo ti to la ni ndu mundu o te khorang ga nyamnyung go ne go re te ma to teni nge semte de ndu dan drog ndu ta mundu teni go samlo ta nyang ga mare.
So we can liken this being aware or being watchful or watching from afar to keeping an eye on the state of the situation that we are in while keeping our gaze fixed in front of us. It is possible for us to be aware of what is happening in our midst through our peripheral vision. So without turning our head and looking to the left and turning our head and looking to the right, it's still possible by looking ahead in front of us to know what is happening in our immediate environment. And so this is an example that we can use to get a better idea of what we mean by mindfulness and awareness. Essentially, combining these two, we are able to be aware of the state that our mind is in, whether it is resting or not, whether it is giving rise to thought or not. We don't do this by discursively asking questions directly about the state of our mind. This kind of awareness and mindfulness is something that is done or achieved in an experiential way.
Ata tendi shini shijing ga ta tani nga so semde teni ta njokpa tangbo go ti thola teni yakbo zo ne yota me tani teni ta hago go re teni kartin sem ko nala nam to jamba ki sona yana teni nga so teni jamba ga teni mazin ni khorang ga jit sona jit ni nga so sem ko nala gum jawa te mepa chak sona te lamsang khona hago go re.
So by applying awareness, it is possible for us to know whether our minds are still placed on their object of meditation that we set out with. This awareness enables us to know whether we are still meditating on our original object or whether our minds have wandered.
Garte ti kapse teni da nga so sem go na la jamba go jin teni nam to jamba ki nga so sem teni ne pa journée te me pa teni chak sona teni lamsang ha ko go re ha ko ni Teni yang azo semti pedang azo semti nebiton la samlo tangayo yana maung biton la samlo tangayo tendi yena teni azo semti yang shir kheryong yang jane ga thola jane tendi mentni korang de chu gore ma to korang mentni yang de pati lo ja lo tong mangbo la samlo tang maung bala lo ja lo tong ga jis mangbo la samlo tang tendi ma shi teni ko lam sam shir chdi yong ni ti sacha te la tari ga jane ti thola jag gore te la jinjok zegre teni semni pi tab go ni ba de.
So in being aware if we have lost our mindfulness and have given rise to thought activity, then we know that this has happened. We know if we are giving rise to thoughts of a certain...
Somebody landing job as a goddess. Somebody landing job as
a so when we observe, when we're aware that we have given rise to thought activity, whether it be a thought to do with something in the past or the present or the future, then in not letting that thought continue to go on into the future, in bringing our mind straight back to the immediate place where it should be resting. So by bringing the mind back to our shamatha meditation, then this action is what we refer to as repeated placement. And this is the third of the 9 methods for bringing the mind to rest.
Tambo ngachoti tola jamba tola tambo ngachoti gom go tola jerne teni mentni ni atomoto karma ni karma sam karma jeti ni atapta ni mentni ni atela teni semne pitab ni pateni jinjuk zete teris.
So the jinjuk in the tap ni barba. So when we start out by placing our mind on the object of our shamatha meditation, then in resting in this state for 1 or 2 minutes or for as long as we can, this continual abiding or resting on the original or in the original place of placement is what we refer to as continual placement. This continual or sustained resting is continual placement. And this is the second of the 9 methods for bringing the mind to rest. When we become aware that our minds have lost their mindfulness and have given rise to thought activity, and we bring our focus once again to our original shamatha meditation, then this is repeated placement, and this is the third method.
nga nam tok mambo kegere yena nge tela tapsu sini ngarang ga yarka lingo sambi semnang la jamdukshi ya te te chigre teni jamba tang shivjin nika tere ti thola teni jinjol de njokpa la sokpa simre ti chigbu de ngaso chiri chiri shaswa ti chigbu de ngaso le tangbo pa gum jam khinzla samlo tana pe karchim bore.
So these 6 points that we've just mentioned are extremely important for people beginning with meditation practice. So the first point, as we mentioned, was being mentally prepared that in engaging in meditation we will encounter a great deal of thought activity, and that in respect of this thought activity we need to vow to achieve victory. This first attitude or mental preparation is very important. And then the next 2 things, the importance of mindfulness and awareness in our meditation practice, they are very important too. And then the first 3 of the 9 methods of bringing the mind to rest, placement, continual placement, and repeated placement, these 3 are also of great use, indispensable to beginning meditators.
Teni tarong ti tholak teni yang tonsan ni yore de ni de yang pekar chimbore tesem la jagore.
And in addition to these 6 points, there are 2 further points that are very important and which everyone should bear in mind.
Teni te kangre zena nga so gum gyapi ne kapna teni gum la parchit shongna teni parchit te par servi tab ni yore.
And these 2 methods are or these two approaches for dispelling obstacles that we might encounter in our meditation practice.
Teni parchas chiti kangrezina ngaso gum jabi nekam teni kap teni ta namtok halipa mangbu yongore teni namtok to mangbu halipa mangbu chuni teni tsawani mar teni namtok mepa ta journey ngala ni mathapa shini ta journey ngala karma chini gona ni mathapa teni namtok halipa mangbu chuni teni yongore teni tela teni chua tang gopa zigre teni te tam chua zig namtok pan chua zigre te ngaso parchas chigre.
So the first kind of obstacle that we might encounter is one where we experience an unusually large or amount of thought activity, or an unusually strong amount of thought activity. That is, we find ourselves in a state of continually giving rise to thought. It's not possible for us to bring ourselves into stillness or calm abiding even for the shortest moment.
Shirtang also namtok mambo yongate katari kona shat sarson tini matamshi pola tini jete yena ta nyima takpar tini shini namtok tsawani martini te jiwa nala yong matavda tani also lipo la tini natun yona hako mare mambala tongo res.
Of course, as we said before, it's normal when we start out to experience a great deal of thought activity. However, if this continues every day and doesn't abate in the slightest, then we might want to consider whether we need to go and get our bodies checked out by a doctor.
Tani mambade ngaso pe na bog manga na la na lungman zindi de lungman tongyore. Dentong gore sarman shangman ra tendri matok ba jamba chi laba na la sha lemle zinjir kamar te chontong na yakpo yu ki mare eyo misi ta te ha go mare shetang bork na la borman da teni sarman shangman to so na la lungman yore lungman tong gore ta ka te mamba la ta ne mamba ga te zang kang du zena te gore namgin tin zi na jindu ka mare
Zaman shimenzna? Oh, let's say. And in terms of what kind of doctor would be good for, would be qualified or would be useful to examine us in this context, a Tibetan doctor or a Chinese doctor who is skilled in diagnosing illness related to winds and other functions of the body, this would be the best approach. It's uncertain whether consulting a Western doctor would provide us with any useful diagnosis in this situation.
Te namjin ti tapar tin ri na te zegre ma to ba sher tang a chotini gom jam kan le tang bu pa ge na nam to mambo yong re ze tari kon to sha char so nam to te yo na o ta nga re sa mare nga mal na tong ko sa re sam na te ndu ko mare.
Of course, this would only be in a situation where we constantly we find ourselves in a state of ongoing and especially strong thought activity. We shouldn't think that when we sit down to meditation, we're giving rise to a lot of thought time for us to go and see the doctor. It's not necessary for us to think like this. And so, in fact, there are a couple of relatively easy approaches we can take to addressing this problem. One approach we can take is if we're in a building like this with split levels, so a first story or a second story and a third story, it can be advantageous for us when we experience an unusual amount of thought activity to go immediately to a lower level to meditate, such as the first floor or the basement level. Another approach we can take is to close the curtains and make the space that we're meditating in a bit darker. So both of these things can have benefit.
Teni sambada teni nga tsu nangla tezi zhombu shi go re, nangla zhonyum yo na, zhonyum go teni zhotsep te yar tezi thombu rao shi na, di pantok yo re.
And the third thing that we can do that can help is to increase the temperature of the room that we are meditating in if we're able to do so.
Yana gomba tezi thombu rao go na yang pantok yo re.
Or put on some thicker clothing.
Teni ta teso tsangma shi na yang tsawa ne teni ta tapshi mao na, ta kanda shi go re na teni otsik gyab nyang ka ma re, gom tin cho jan ni ne kab zhak go re.
If we try all of these approaches and nothing works, then in this situation, the best thing to do is to abandon our meditation session for the time being. It's not good for us to force ourselves to continue.
Teni sim la teni otsik gyab ni teni shi na teni sim go teni ta nga so la teni yang kwarang pe na panyi se. O teni da o shi ne chi gordok go teni yang nipa mambo toyong go re.
And the reason for this is if we do force and compel ourselves to continue in our meditation in this situation, then our mind will become rebellious and various consequences will follow.
Aya te jigre teni nipa te teni tondak nipa te kang re se na yang nga so gom japi ne kab na kap sa teni namtok mambo chowa mayimba, namtok chon chogo yo marita ina teni namtok marki namtok ke ga marita namtok marki na sem ga na la teni thup man thupure teni sem na la chi shi sangbo mayimba teni sarwo mayimba nga so kong la she pi sarwo ze teni sangwa te so me pare ne teni nit zena nit ngomat mare ina teni nit ton rolan rawo teni yong ne teni shipa xiangwa ta mukpa ze gre teni sem tabotwa ngon thom ne teni chichi mukwa o teni yong gore teni te yang aso tangen jang parchi chishu chigre.
The second type of obstacle that we might commonly experience is one where our minds are not giving rise to a lot of thought and perhaps not giving rise to any thought at all. However, they are not in a state of clarity or lucidity. They are dull, we feel drowsy, we might not be falling asleep, but we feel as if we are about to. And so in this dull and drowsy and rather befuddled state, this is an obstacle to our meditative concentration.
Teni te kandi shi go re zena teni tapchi shi sir ka tapshi tab depo kashi to ndoze tab depo kang re zena teni chinchak ba kangol la yap go re kangol zhi go re chinchak ba.
There are a few very easy things we can do to remedy this situation. The first would be to splash some cold water on our faces.
Teni kangba pe na tsang thombo na la teni gomjab sa teni yo na te tsang thombo na la sone gomjab na te pantok yo re.
And if we are meditating in a house or a building where we have the opportunity of going to a higher floor, this would be an option.
Teni kangba na la teni samu shi ne audio na te pantok yo re. Kongo ti dokshok te sore audio samu rao shi na gorjik go te so par shi na pantok yo re.
And increasing the light in the space that we are meditating in can also be useful. So by opening the curtains, essentially doing all the things that are the opposite of what we just spoke about in the previous context.
Teni nang la te kangba nang la zhut te zi mar pab na te zi zhangmu yo na zhohnyum yo na te zi zhangmu rao shi na te pantok yo re.
And if it's possible for us to lower the temperature in the space we're meditating in, then this could also be good too.
다 때서 탐식 것들이 판독 싸와님이 다롱양 때니 셈 때니 다 투포 때니 쇼나 간디시 고즈더니 에스 잡냥 그 말에 레지 때니 참조시 고레서 내값스.
And similarly, if we do all of these things, but ultimately to no avail, then again we shouldn't force ourselves to continue in our meditation practice. The thing to do at this point is to take a break.
어때니 때 니데 가서 공부 trực 토라 장나더니 게르더니 탑시 잡보데베 가침보레 곰잡이 값은.
So these two extra points, that is these 2 points which address, which remedies for common obstacles that we might encounter in our meditative practice, in addition to the 6 points that we mentioned just before, together make up 8 points that are very useful for practitioners beginning with meditation.
Teni ti thola yang aso namgin donang gusaga yang tondak chigyosi ta tama tondak tama dire.
And in addition to all of these, there is a final point that we need to pay attention to.
Teni kaare zina aso gumjabni teni gumjabe pine kamna teni gumjabate halipa yakpo yung namtok teni mambo yang me teni namtok teni shangwa tang gopate so tsangma me ne gum yakpo yung ne halipa yakpo yung kapsu teni gumtim chulchat go gores rang rangshik teni rangniki par chulchat samchat go samjukshi go gores.
And this final point is a method or an approach we can take when we are experiencing a very good state of shamatha meditation. So we're resting in a state of no thought. We're not sinking, we're not feeling drowsy, we're not feeling dull. We are resting very well in a state of the mind, directly experiencing the mind. In this situation, what we do is actively or voluntarily interrupt our meditation process, our meditation session or our meditation.
Teni mo kashi samlo tana te kemsar pochire ngaso gum yakbo yongo yowi kapsa teni mentni gum go marewe samne teni sam gare.
Of course, some people think this is extremely bizarre. Why would we, in our best meditative state, seek to interrupt it?
Teni te ngaso le tambo payendi teni yin rambo ne thapko marezi teni yakpo zne yopi kapsa teni samcha jana teni korang yakpo ti parti ngaso ti nangtela yopati yakbo rin rore karti teni sammapchi ne tarung tezin dugna teni namtok yone ngaso rangan sammapchi na namtokon samchan rore.
But the reason that we do this is that as beginners, it's not possible for us to abide in this shamatha state for a particularly long period of time. If we don't interrupt the meditation ourselves, then before too long it's inevitable that a thought will arise and do it for us. So that is why, having had a period of good meditative experience, we then voluntarily interrupt it or cease it.
Teni namtokun samchadna ja ngarang so rangan samchadna da kangtaran samchadna teni chig marewezena te khabar karin dugzena te khabar yore.
Of course, some might say, well, if it's us interrupting it or if it's the thought interrupting it, it's still interruption, so what's the difference?
Khabarti kangrezena ta ngarang so gum jamne gum yakpo yong ikapse teni samjawjana teni nga yang lamsang nge gum sam yong goresi ta nga lamsang yang tari nga kongte la pe yakbo shongsong nge ta lamsang gum go samne teni gum la hale pa chowa yong gore reze.
The difference between the two is if we voluntarily or if we proactively interrupt or cut our meditation, then we will have done so at a time when our experience is at its best. And for this reason, we will still be feeling very positive and very enthusiastic about meditation and will want to quickly return to it.
Teni pejang na nga so mu ni teni shilo la soni janthong sa yang na tsik janthong sa la soni kapda yakbo shini kapda nyamu shini halipa yakbo yopi kapsa teni chu jak na chu jak nim chu chat ni teni ni ka timnang la lok sona teni tarong yang kapda shi sam gore ji teni sanya chipo di kapar tang yong gore tsik janthong sa indro janthong sa indro kapda shi ji ni teni zeyong gore.
It's the same as we can imagine two good friends getting together over a tea or a coffee to have a conversation. The conversation is coming along excellently. They're having a great time. If this conversation were to be aborted very abruptly, then both of them would go home still harboring a feeling of what a great conversation they had had. And if one of them were to call them up on the phone and say, "Do you want to come out and keep chatting tomorrow over a cup of tea?" they would feel very enthusiastic and would be very willing to do so.
Teni te dang rapore ngaso lama teni te ngama gum la nyamnyung yakbo yong ken so teni gum dang teni kha jibine kamna zangbu ko ni yakbu ko toni gom dang kaptar na teni lamsang yang gom la tro ki yong gres.
And it's the same in respect of meditation. This was the experience of highly realized lamas in the past, that when we part from our meditation session, we should do so at a time when or in good terms, we should part from our meditation session at a point when our meditation experience has been strong.
Tenin samjagni yang lamsang gom go re ma to ban samjagni yang kirjana de mare tin samjani samcha chabi jini yang lamsang gom go re.
So when we interrupt our meditation like this, it's necessary that we immediately return to meditation. So we don't interrupt the meditation and then just leave it. We immediately come back. We immediately return.
Tendi indi teni gomla teni zangji zegre tela teni kaptar gomdang kaptar ne kamna yakpos go goni kaptar wa te pe karchim bores.
So it's important that when we separate or when we part from meditation, that we do so on good terms.
Teni gomdang nganji ji de dugbu go tone kaji pa tere kaptar wa te kanre zena nge gom jamne te zendo na te nga nam tok mambo kini teni nam tok nyag nyog mambo kiwi ne kapsa ngin samjag jagna oya teni nge ti thang jima nge gombi ne kamna teni nga gomla muba menken rendo chowa menken rendo re.
The opposite of parting on good terms with from meditation is parting on bad terms. And this would be a situation where we are sitting in meditation, where there's a lot of thought activity. It's very difficult for us to rest our mind in calmness. And if we were to break our meditation session at this point, when we were not having the best meditative experience, then we would not feel a strong sense of desire or inclination to return to our meditation.
Pena moni kapda shini teni kapda nyaknyok mambo shini ton ching me patin ro she sona ti thoni jagni so themla sona teni sanye chipo yang kapartane nga su chanong sa androzina ta kokum gume zini tendi zeong gres.
So it would be the same as two friends who are sitting down to their conversation and not having a very agreeable time at all, arguing back and forth. And if they were to go home in this way, then if one was to call the other up the following day to see if they wanted to come out, they would make excuses and say they didn't have time.
Oh yeah, that teni tonsang good teni ngacho le tangbo pa chama gom japine ko yindamanda hako go red.
So these 9 points that we've covered just now are really important ones that everyone beginning in their meditation needs to know about.
Teni tonsang gobo te yakbo yongsona teni parche ngacho teni gom jawya teni tapshi te so sama tinangla parche yores.
And these 9 points or these 9 methods probably encompass within them all the necessary tips that we need to know for our meditative practice. So we are going now to continue with the text. So in a state of mindfulness, we seek to continue in our practice without interruption. So similar to complete emptiness, rest right there. Similar to vivid clarity, rest right there. Similar to constant movement, stay right there. Sometimes in our meditation practice, we experience a state similar to emptiness. It's not necessary for us to concern ourselves, to inquire of the state, whether this is emptiness or not. Simply abiding where we are is sufficient.
Teni kawkawsa gomjabine kamna teni shipa halipa saru teni ta susuranga teni sem yapo saru nyam su nyong thapa teni saru halipa saru nyam teni yongore ina tela tenga chu chutok cham she go mare khorang kangri na ti thola jagjana ndikare.
And there are other times during our meditation where we experience great clarity, vivid clarity. Again, however, it's not necessary for us to concern ourselves whether this is clarity or not. Simply to rest right there is sufficient.
Teni kapkapsan namtok mambu njewa ndawo teni yongorita ina njewi kne kamna njewa te shisona teni korang kale yang mepa changdo ret.
And there are other times in our during our meditation where we begin to give rise to a great deal of thoughts. However, being aware that this is happening, the thoughts will dissolve or disappear of their own accord.
Zeni kari jiniwa jindrapshon tekar jok teni kona nga su shapi teni sarsar njinjo teni teso changma teni zeni kari jini zegare zeni zena namtok yoa meba chik tola ndung pate zegare teni jini zena ta tinala namtok mambo me ship menken ka teni jimban rawo teni zila zegare ta teso kang shongyang dorna namtok tela nyam kang ra shongyang Delaya te chigre mandu yang kare re mare tindi masam bar khara tingala jagni te mabji pa tamji ngala nena tin rukundu.
So unmodified, unadulterated, totally bare, whatever occurs, rest right there. So whatever we state, we discover, whatever we observe during our meditation, it's not necessary for us to be examining or investigating whether it is this way or whether it is that way or whether this is the way things should be or not the way things should be. Simply, irrespective of what occurs, to abide right where we are is sufficient.
Tani ta tongo salon jowo ji sijang teki jinde pong ta kapkapsa tongba yemban rawo kapkapsa sarwa yemban rawo kapkapsa namtok chongzen jewan rawo tindi nyam tindi mambo yongna kang yongna yang teni te shipi goni teni tingala ne dena teni ndukare ti jis te ni tongba are mare sarwa are mare tindi mashi shinyang kamare ma to namtok ren dore teni shipa khora rangsar jagna tin ndukare.
So sometimes we will find ourselves giving rise to thoughts like, oh, it's empty, or it's clear, or it's moving. However, we shouldn't chase after these thoughts. If we do, then they will become stronger. So in this situation, we simply rest where we are. And we need to meditate like this for a long time.
Teni rakshit tokchin ransar kirzi teni rakshit zena teni tomba re mare teching teni ra manda teni shapa mambo me patang teni tokchin zena teni te namtok ndukund nduk mundik zipi takchon kentela zegre teso changma par kirni namtok korang kangra yenna teni tingala ne na teni tin chokore teng dela nduk manduk teni yenman teni takchon mamboda tokshon mamboda teni shina teni namtok jemang lan jore kang yongna korang te par kirni te hakwa chambu ngani jagjana te korang kale mar jani rendore.
So moving on then to letting go of comparative analysis and over-conceptualization. Here, thoughts about whether this is empty or not, whether this is similar to that, whether this is this way or should be that way, essentially investigative thoughts and analytic effort. This is not what we should do. Irrespective of whatever thoughts arise or whatever occurs, we simply rest where we are by investigating and analyzing, asking discursive questions of our thoughts. They only become more and stronger in nature. So simply being aware of our thoughts as they are, we rest in this state, and by doing so, naturally we will return to a state of calm abiding.
Ringa munjir mugpana shangwa sangla rangsar jo teni kapkapsa namtok maki goni tawa teni reyona teni tawa te mebashi go ser go re tate kongda nga su sha sarso sertabte o teni shine yang gum go re.
So, as we were speaking about before, sometimes during our meditation, we might find ourselves experiencing dullness. We spoke about before some methods we can take to address this situation.
ringa njetan chakki na njenje pote semyen be te tang de tula juk njirji mamta rangsa zong teni njewa rang njerje teni kap kap sa nga zo namtok halipa ga chakpo mayim ba teni namtok te chung rawo teni korwa ta mangbo kina teni chet gaba jab go mare korang kiwi nekum na namtok korang yang semre teni sem korang o ta ngarang ka namtok teni ke ndu samban rawo teni shi sona teni korang ngang ro rezi te namtok te korang par med ro re tele jamba tapsi go mare.
So sometimes we might find ourselves giving rise to a lot of subtle thoughts. So not necessarily large thought movement, but a great deal of subtle thoughts. It's not necessary for us in this situation to seek to block these thoughts or to cut these thoughts. Simply being aware that this movement of thoughts is in fact mind itself, and knowing this and resting in this state, the thoughts will subside of their own accord.
Jitang manji tamchit kan chorchum shon sem jitang sem na rang jak ji xiao teni pe na nam to ke yona yana nam to markina chang teso tamchi po so so rang nyam sum nyung de nazi de sem go o ta nga nam to ke nde ta ke mun de teni nam to ko samnyang ga mare pe na nga chu muk ta na muk par tan de na teni mukchik teni paran ro teni charan ro teni shina nga chu mukun thong go yore ina sem go o teni mukchik parar song machik sarasong teni samnyang ka mare muk teni ko paran ro charan ro tamchin thong de ndu wa den da bo shi ne teni sem go o ta nam to ki ndu ta nam to ga kan du nyam ban ro teni ha ko na teni tela sem go thola jarze gre te jakpa te changman jugre
这样就说呢，就看不了。
다 남토 깨요나 깨근도 삼바티 시나티 초코레 되니 ngak요나 ngak근도 삼바티 시나티니 초코레지 베나가 소티 nga 남토 깨근도 nga 남토 ngak근도 사니 셈그틴디 삼년 그 말에 베나 다 셈그틴디 삼년 그 말이 뇽고 그래서 냠숨 뇽고 그래서.
So, regardless of what is happening in respect of our thought movement, whether we're giving a rise to thoughts or whether thoughts are ceasing, it's we simply remain experientially aware of what is taking place without actually discursively trying to understand or label what is taking place in respect of our thoughts.
배우장나 가서 무즈티니 파란조 티니 서른조나 네 셈가나라 어티니 무즈 파란조운도 서른조운도 삼티니 삼년가 말에 나랑 그 무크타니 어티니 무즈 파르송 티니 무즈 서르송 삼니 무크티니 하고요래 셈가 남토고 나라 테 파란조송 서른조송 삼니 삼고요 말에 답변나 된다 보고 그래.
This is similar to watching people walking back and forth in front of our vision, our eyes watching and being aware of what is taking place, but our mind not thinking. So our mind seeing a person walking back or walking forth, but our mind not thinking, oh, there's a person walking this way, there's a person walking that way. Ultimately, this would be a situation of our eyes being aware of the movement, but our minds not discursively processing what is taking place.
와티니 아주 셈가나라 남토즈 기위네 급나다 남토직 계송 삼바드니 그런 거 냠뇽거 하고 드니 양 남토직 각송 삼바드니 냠뇽거 하고 냠뇽거 드니 고아텔라 데덴드거리데 마토바 남토고 삼니 오다 각송 다 계송 삼니 삼로고 드니 삼냥거 말에.
So in a similar way, we maintain an experiential awareness of whether our thoughts are arising or whether they are ceasing. We don't discursively analyze whether they are arising or ceasing. We just maintain an awareness that is experiential in nature.
어떤지 셈그 약보자 하고데나 데텔라 데니 기나 마키나 데라 셈그 톨라 셈 저즈나 초코레즈.
So this kind of experiential awareness, where our mind is experientially aware of our thoughts, regardless of the way that they are moving, is what we refer to as the self-settled mind.
되니 같은데 곰 잡니 되니 되니 삼로 마땅 삼로 땅에 남쪽에 은두 문두 되니 로 은두 문두 되니 마삼 어 삼로 탐처 되니 남쪽 탐처 말 저니 되니 늑비네 나 되니 가테 남쪽에 메나 되니 남쪽에 문두 삼바테 과랑 냠스뇽 조거래 되니 남쪽에 요나 남쪽에 송 삼바테 냠스뇽 거래 이나 대심 과랑 냠스뇽 거래 마tok 바야 가서 남쪽 잠바치 그양 어때 계근도 각근도 된지 말해.
So by resting in this state, giving rise to no discursive thought, we directly experience the state of our mind. So if we give rise to thought, we experience that we are giving rise to thought. If a thought ceases, we experience that a thought has ceased. We don't discursively label or discursively address the arising or the ceasing of our thoughts, or rather use discursive thought to label other discursive thought.
Simti nyangwi malbjakam ransim rang loti ne jetin jerndut rangchul bjaks oyata ti kangrezena yana ngacho simti ngacho nyangana la gomba tini ngacho kongla chapanda o tindi shina chokores chigri yana ngacho tini nyangana la jakta ma jak tindi ma shepar tini simti khorang ngacho ti pardu thutur ta sona la chapanda po shini sim khorang rang la jakne tini rang zina khorang kandi na tindi gone jakze ta te tong thola ngacho kongla shepi tini simti thuk thola tini ta roji tere simti khorang la kor ko thola joni tini tinga la jagna te yang chokore de nyana la jagna chokore yana nyang da tindi samlo ma tane tini khorang lopo tindi la kor ko thola jagna choze tini kangshi na chom dorna tini la teni tini nam to mambo kiwa te so tamche kale karam ma chenyon sone tini jambo zuk thola tini ne thapa tindi jongore.
So we can rest with our mind in this state, or we can, as we spoke about before, I think 양자 손에 적한 벌랑이 띠 코스 빠르크데니 개바치랭이야 이사부서 하코그면도
양나 티니 가서 심 냥근나라 티니 곰바티 공라샤송아 어 테인나 티니 드크레지 양나 가서 심 냥근나라 곰다 마곰 틴디금 삼노탄고 마레 티니 심 카랑 티니 특그 토라 손에 특고 송아 라쿠르코 송아 어 라쿠르코 토라 손에 티니 띵알라 네나 초코레지 테페나 가서 파르도 투르그 nala tisha pijan da potendizri te kangina ndikazi kangster tendi goni teni ngacho namtok mambo to so kale meba tongo re.
So, regardless of the way that we rest our minds, whether we rest our minds at the point of the center of our heart, or whether we bring them to rest at point zero, which is similar to the formless approach in the Shamatha methods in the Book of the Dead, the important thing is that we rest our minds in a still state and allow our thoughts to become less and less.
Namtok ngewa zadmit po rangar yarwe timilla jizm jijam rewmit namtok dungar zadmashi tewe yet tewe ndiyim tsargni tomi tini ndwangsong tepshir yondan Shamatha tanandala jenlogni jini simani dripshi na tanzan ngonshi lasok pi yondan tamchit tomjerjang nalni rangwa demchok ni tsita nga so namtok te sherdan kharang te jagna tini chik jila tini chiko zapa sawane yo marez yena te namtok zabme tini mambo te so tamcho pola tondak chichi yo mare tondak menken kan namtok tini tagdag rez tini nga so serb thoma me pa ne namtok ko wang da sone tini shawanda manda tini mambo le tini nga so tondang damba tini leka letho yo mare tani ngacho teni journey drimne teni namtok te lab jondr yakpo tathap sona teni ngacho tondang dambi teni leka mambo le thap kare.
So the verse beginning conceptual thoughts moving don't lead to improvement in this verse, we're really looking at the fact that the thoughts that arise in our mind take place in a no-ending, ever-continuing stream, and yet they have no meaning whatsoever, and ultimately they don't enable us to engage in any kind of meaningful action, despite the fact that based on these thoughts we have been living our lives up until this point. These thoughts themselves haven't enabled us to accomplish any great meaning. However, from this point on, through practicing shamatha meditation and enabling ourselves to train our minds, then we will be in a position to begin to engage in work of a meaningful type.
Therefore, Juin Shipilu, Jini Simla Wang Girni, Jini Mato per Zumba Lapa, Sopa Meperpsha, therefore, Yang Kumbali, Yang we long the Wamaranji, not Tom Gorgo Jejetang, Rang Sim Les, Leron Jevzang Gir, Laming of Janmekang, Manga Native Jactamdo, Semne, Slala, Longka Mit, Simla Mupan Dertavi, Nanta Yantak, Japana, Tanzan Les Ronwana, Kasak Meper near the Nit, the ring also Janegatini, the Matuko Parta, Tangaranga Zumbashi go and do Sambagatini, Semtak Jenny, Teni Gum Gozi. Teni Gumnang also Teni Kale, Teni, or Lung Samchipotini, Womanala, do Resita, or Long Womanala, the Jitan also Nakanalate, Mambu Shakin do. Ganstarante so tamchipota loss lojon go re matopan dit hola sitab kumare tena dorna ngaso teni long womaga landini namtok chichung lan re tezi re teni ngaso tarindi tapsindo teni halipa le labore tena lama teni lami teni mang jamba teni go man dina la saru shavja yore te mang jam mang rawota gumthapta teni jamba mena teni din yegen dinala yo patarte yakpo shini teni gumna teni ti tangenzen teni ta tobyung gore.
So, going on with the text, until we have accomplished good results in our shamatha meditation practice, we need to be diligent in respect of our meditation goals, to diligently work towards good accomplishment in our shamatha meditation practice. In the verse on the top of page 5, by gaining familiarization, by doing it over and over, the winds will gather into the heart center, entering the central channel, and the discursive thoughts will become more calm and the mind will become more and more pliant. The winds gathering into the heart's center, this is something that is spoken of a great deal in Vajrayana meditation teachings. However, this is something that we would need to study separately in order to gain a comprehensive understanding of. The important thing here is that through the wind gathering into our heart center, our thoughts become more calm and our minds become more restful. And going on from this to the next verse, this advice or these instructions in this very text are extremely simple. They're extremely clear. And in fact, by putting into place, by applying these instructions in this text, we will be able to bring the mind to rest. And it is not necessary for us to receive any instructions or any particular complicated instructions from a teacher, etc. Simply practicing on the instructions and advice in this text will be sufficient for us to attain very good results in shamatha practice.
Teni the le labore teni the latini gomna teni sim martini ani gona teni ani laboyins.
So what it's saying is that this meditation method is very easy. By putting into place these instructions, it's very easy for us to bring our mind to rest.
Teni shirtang ngaso gum jamna teni gumti teni lama ga teni kumdenne yakpo lama nyamyung yongken Tendri kumdenne yakpo tubgo re ma tokpa shirtang teni ngaso gumti so yang soso la mangak menken tata teni yakpo teni mashina yang gum teni she dena Teni sim ganala yang te nupa yung korin ramada rekarizi pe na nyumba rin to anda oda tindi yang yung strikarizi pe na ngaso lipola teni ta man ramadan thona teni te lipola no kandua ten rapo simla yang tindi nang natun jong sigri.
So usually when we talk about receiving instructions for meditation practice, we say that it's necessary to have a good teacher, to rely on a good teacher who is very familiar with the meditation practices and is able to provide us with qualified pointing out instructions. The reason being that if we were to rely on someone who was not familiar and was not experienced, that the instructions they might give us could potentially harm us, such as lead to a situation where we might become crazy. It would be similar to a situation where we take all kinds of random medicines and ingest these in our body. We would likely become sick through this approach.
Chabarda pe na tsarlung gombanda lung gombanda so korwatela zavzam machina tani gumgi yakboz mapshona lila pe no pa chembun jongores.
And this word of caution is especially so in relation to meditation on the winds, channels and drops. By not proceeding properly, it's possible that we could sustain significant harm.
Teni tartan teni zambalang la teni gumtam ramada mambo targayores yoga teni gum mambo do teni yam so kashi gum sartu chi kinzini teni mambo legend te so pe zavzam machina.
In the world today, all kinds of meditation methods and techniques are spreading widely. We've got yoga, we've got other kinds of meditation techniques that have been newly invented. And in respect of these meditation methods, it's necessary that we proceed with caution, not knowing necessarily how things might end up.
Teni gumtup ti yang tak bayam ba ti nguni tang tankir yung gore ti yoni teni zo nga chu tanglim chi gore ma to pa ti tankir mayuna teni chi gang shung teni ta gum mambo teni jamna teni nyumba chakno na ko mari.
In any case, whatever kind of meditation practice it is that we elect to practice, it's necessary that we first establish with certainty that the meditation method is in fact a reliable one. And if we're not able to do this, it's uncertain what might take place through practicing a meditation method that is not a reliable one. It's possible that we may be mentally harmed.
Inna yang teni gumtap ndra boyna teni halipa sarwori teni tab debori teni indi teni ndela te sosorang nyamlim shina teni nyenkachi chi yo mares.
However, the meditation method that's outlined in this text is an extremely clear one. It's an extremely simple one, and there is no danger at all in practicing it.
Nyangki chatik dharmugu katok yeke longzen mit ransim yopa tenin la tawa tamjin kyangwa yin tenin dela nga chu sanghak ta te sunala teni ramra mambo gomya teni yori yige gombanda teni lung gombanda teni mambo yori dela ti chi go mares.
So for the purposes of this meditation, there is no need for other kinds of approaches that exist in other kinds of Vajrayana practices, such as practices entailing meditations on heart drops or different colors or letters or syllables or wind retention. None of this is necessary.
Then in the tindi tab depota tindi jete inna then in the halipa zammu in the manga halipa zammu in tini ndele lakpi tini ndele lakpa dan ndele yakpi tini journée tini gomya tini gomtap yo mare tini sondugzi yegen dinala.
Despite the fact that it's a very convenient, it's a very easy or straightforward meditation practice, there is no pith. It is very profound in nature, and there is no pith instruction that is, in fact, more profound than this one. This is as it says in the text. So this is the end of the teaching on shamatha meditation, and what goes on from here is teaching on flakdong, on the profound insight.
당보 세원이 결니는 심지 심랍 대바나 남크르 대상 대바나 통윙우 우버 머무터 땅은 근리 조르니는 스톤설 존직 심지 성 추니도 날란 차바 인제 다 당봉아 초 심대 약보즈더니 디 금잡니 마라니 고거리 데라 저니제 그리 데니 니 차르위 지스 데니 남토망보 메 데니 약보즈 네 차르위 지니 데니 가서 셈 그셈라 따용나 데니 우니 장네가 데니 라코르 무마티 데니 땅 통거리 똥바니 기톤데 데니 셈지랑진 똥바니 땅 데르샥냥보 땅 데니 데니 냠슴용 탑거레.
So when we begin our meditation by bringing our mind to rest and abiding in this state, and then on this foundation to observe the mind or to experience, to have the mind experience itself, it is possible for us to really or truly observe point zero, or to realize emptiness, or understand our Buddha nature.
Tene rikton ningmachi lanki yishi rangshongwa osar dzogba chinbu tun dipyushin lim tong yerse. Tani dzogba chinbu te teni lama dipyushin la teni teni ti tokla jerne te teni shitsarvi jini tani dzogba chinbu teni rikpa teni togona teni tez labo yore teni jerne te manjire. Manji ti tokla teni dzogchin gumna teni dzogchin tongro re. Teni te dzogchin tokpa te teni lama teni shinlup tang damba teni lama gipa shinlup yonkan teni gumdani.
So upon a firm foundation of shamatha meditation, with the guidance of a qualified teacher, it will be relatively more easy for us to realize the meaning of the great completion, or to achieve realization according to the Dzogchen teaching. So in this situation, it would be necessary for us to have a qualified Lama and the blessings of our Lama, the blessings of our Lama's lineage, and upon our foundation of shamatha practice, further profound insight practice and Dzogchen practice will accomplish results with greater ease.
Mesta da tambu chi zhe gongten la ma pembe tipa ge teni gomtop de teni si songbare zena teni nga zo nyangma ge teni de lama pe halipa ge teni lama khipa yin ba teni triptu yin ba teni gomba halipa nyamnyong yak boyong ken ge teni lama jangchi sen hwa teni jamgun mopam zea teni ziyore teni ti songbare.
And then finally, we see that this teaching was written by Lama Mipam on the 6th day of the first month of the Fire Horse year during the afternoon break between sessions. So Lama Mipam, of course, was a brilliant adept, meditative adept, a scholar, bodhisattva in the Nyingma tradition of Tibetan Buddhism.
Teni ngazo gomtap te shetsar song teni kerang choi na teni katsang derang tsola teni gomgyab kundu teni derang sangning ka chakam du namginyang teni to gomgyab kundu teni ken nambalan teni gom chumkan teni lama yori teni rimbochi nami na teni ken namla tarnga yang ndeyang ngazo derang shaki te yang mambo teni chatsar ndu teni te indi changma te korkepe yakbore te na ngazo sosola teni lama teni to soso zhongla teni chunkan yona teni yargi yakbo ndore teni korkup te pe yakbore te na korkup damjin shini teni soso semgan nala teni tangen zena jirne zena te tez akim ki tani baba te shia te pe karchim bore.
So this brings to a conclusion our teaching on the shamatha component of the teachings. All of you have been practicing meditation yesterday, today. You'll continue to do it tomorrow. In general, you have been practicing meditation anyway, and will continue to do so under the guidance of your own teacher. And this is really a wonderful opportunity that you have in your midst, a qualified teacher who's able to guide you in your meditation practice. So everyone should seize this opportunity and really strive to see whether you're able to accomplish good results in your Shamatha meditation practice, whether you can achieve good results in your efforts towards meditative concentration.
Teni kiso teni da nyamdo gomjam teni rinpoche na gom mar chapa zambo matsapa teni nyamdo gomjam tsama teni shine pe gomgo thola nandan halipa yakboche ndu te indi teni nandan yakboche thamna te gom yakboje la kegre te indi teni soso gom te jilla ke sona masi tondang damba te renjo re te na tsama ti thola baba yakboche roji.
So that you've all been meditating together and meditating under the guidance of your teacher, as well as meditating together. This is a really wonderful thing, gaining familiarity about meditation in this way. And this is something that will really bring you great benefits. So everybody, please do continue to be diligent in your efforts.
Aya teni ngazo teranga teni journée ga chete yang jokson teni titso yang tongson samati jiche.
So that brings to a conclusion our teaching on Shamatha meditation. Thank you very much to everyone.
Tanjo zubanya doni ni betana banje yegana je wanon rubai sebi gurendo yonda namada ame judi wala no jodi sadalange darazode doje janga gomba yodosho chedan jimbada ganda zamba de tejande ida gangi jisa dalanje Givanda da danjara do Shambe Yava Danjeji Uai Gulanjo de la Bali Dogogi Zavanda Goya Zombo Jojo Tori yondan yondan dandarsha Duraga yondan rajajo Deryan zabirama yobajo
Thank you. Thank you so much.